Max Verstappen didn't just win in 2023, he made the rest of the grid look like unpaid extras. 19 victories, more than 1,000 laps led, and a win percentage that left even Schumacher and Vettel staring at their stats like, wait, is that legal? But here's the catch. Dominance is easy to shout about, but harder to measure. Longer calendars, inflated points, better reliability, those can all make today's numbers look bigger than yesterday's. So the real question isn't just what Max did, but how it stacks up once you cut through the noise. So here's the plan. We'll start with the raw numbers that made jaws drop, then pit them against the legends of the past. We'll dig into why Verstappen and the RB19 were basically untouchable. We'll stress test the stats with context and caveats, and only then will we hand down the verdict. Was 2023 truly the most dominant season in Formula 1 history, or just the most modern? So strap in, because if you thought races were one-sided, wait until you see the record book.
Hola todos!
Hello everyone!
Now, let's get the receipts. Verstappen's 2023 season wasn't just dominant, it was absurd. He won 19 of 22 races, a number so high it makes even his own 2022 record of 15 wins look like a warm-up act. Remember, that record stood for 70 years. Max erased it in one summer. And he didn't just win, he strung them together. 10 consecutive victories from Miami to Monza made Vettel's 9-race streak from 2013 look like child's play. Only one podium escaped him all year, Singapore, and even then it was more about Red Bull's car setup than anything Verstappen himself did wrong. The points? A record-shattering 575. To put that in context, Lewis Hamilton's career best was 413. Verstappen cleared that by more than 160. If Formula 1 had only counted his points and erased Sergio Perez's entire season, Red Bull still would have won the Constructors. Then there's race control. Verstappen led 1,003 laps, about 3/4 of the entire season. That means that for most of 2023, if you tuned in mid-race, odds were you'd see Verstappen's name on top. And he wasn't just inheriting positions. 12 times he converted pole into victory. 6 of those with the hat-trick of pole, fastest lap, and the win. That's a level of domination that doesn't leave crumbs for anybody else. But raw numbers can be misleading, because modern calendars and points inflate everything. The real test is apple to apples. So how does 2023 stack up against the titans of history? Of course, anytime someone breaks records, the purists pop up with their calculators.
But seasons are longer now.
And they're right. Alberto Ascari's legendary 1952 campaign, 6 wins from 8 starts, a 75% strike rate. In Verstappen's case, it's 19 from 22, an 86% hit rate. Percentage cuts through the calendar bloat, and by that metric, Max didn't just edge Ascari, he lapped him. Then there's Michael Schumacher in 2004. The gold standard for modern dominance, 13 wins, title wrapped up by summer. Ferrari painted into the history books. Same story with Sebastian Vettel in 2013, when he reeled off 9 straight wins in a Red Bull rocket ship. But look closer. Schumi's 13 wins came from an 18-race season. Vettel's from 19. Both sit in the mid-70% range for win rate. Verstappen's 86% makes even those dynasties look fragile. And it wasn't just about checkered flags. In 2004, Schumacher led 693 laps. Vettel in 2011 managed 739. Verstappen, over 1,000. 3 out of every 4 racing laps last year had him in the lead. And 3/4 of the episodes are just one guy's highlight reel. So yes, raw totals can be skewed by longer calendars, but percentages don't lie. And by every normalized metric, wins, laps led, even consistency on the podium, Verstappen didn't just join the pantheon, he reset the scale. But records don't write themselves. If Verstappen's 2023 looks like the most dominant season ever, the next question is obvious. Was it the driver, the car, or the team that made it untouchable? So how do you actually engineer a season this lopsided? It wasn't just Verstappen waking up in God mode, it was a perfect storm of car, team and driver. Let's start with the machinery. The RB19 wasn't just fast, it was balanced everywhere. Aerodynamics that worked in high and low downforce trim, a power unit that delivered both speed and reliability, and the killer feature, tyre life. While rivals like Ferrari shredded rubber after a handful of laps, Verstappen could run long stints at metronome pace. That's why Red Bull could dominate on Monaco streets, Spa straight, and Singapore's stop-start maze. Versatility baked in. Then layer on the team execution. Red Bull's pit stops are consistently the fastest on the grid, their strategy calls rarely miss, and the development cycle in 2023 was ruthless. Updates landed often and actually worked, a shocking concept for teams still rolling out experimental side pods in October. And finally, Verstappen himself. The car gave him a platform, but he multiplied its value. He barely made errors, qualified upfront almost every weekend, managed tyres with surgeon-level precision, and when the field gave him even a sliver of track, he turned it into another victory. Most drivers can exploit a great car. Verstappen turned dominance into inevitability. But here's the catch. Dominance can look bigger on paper than it feels in context. So before we crown 2023 as the undisputed GOAT season, let's ask, which stats exaggerate the dominance and which ones actually prove it? Before we carve Verstappen 2023 into stone tablets, a reality check. Modern Formula 1 has built-in inflation. More races mean more chances to rack up wins. Points totals tell the same story. The current 25-18-15 system, plus the invention of sprint races, makes Verstappen's 575 points look monstrous compared to Hamilton's 413 in 2019. But it's not apples to apples. The inflation is baked in. The fairer lens is the percentage of available points, and Verstappen still topped everyone. Reliability is another factor. In the V10 and V12 days, engines blew up for fun. In 2023, Verstappen's RB19 barely sneezed. That makes the dominance easier to sustain, but it also means his numbers reflect a perfect storm of both performance and bulletproof reliability. And then there's the teammate factor. Sergio Perez finished second in the championship and yet still ended nearly 300 points adrift. Verstappen's margin was so big, it was literally larger than Perez's entire season haul. That gulf says two things at once. Verstappen was operating on another planet, and Red Bull built a car so tailored to his style that even a proven race winner couldn't keep up. So yes, the caveats are real, but even after adjusting for inflation, Verstappen's dominance holds up. The real kicker though isn't just the spreadsheets, it's the moments where numbers met spectacle. Stats can feel abstract, so let's put rubber to tarmac and look at the races where Verstappen's dominance actually came alive. It started in Miami. By the time the circuit left Florida in May, Verstappen had already built a streak that felt inevitable. That win kicked off a 4-month run where every Sunday ended the same way, Max on the top step. The message was clear. This wasn't going to be a fight, it was going to be an occupation. Then came Monza, a classic stage for a historic act. That win wasn't just number 10 on the trot. It broke Sebastian Vettel's once untouchable streak from 2013. 10 straight victories in an era where the field is supposedly closer than ever. That was Verstappen turning dominant into historic. Fast forward to Sao Paulo and the math hit hard. That weekend, Verstappen sealed a win percentage so high it reset the record books, a milestone that made even Ascari's 1952 look like small sample size theatre. The streaks, the percentages, the podiums, they all converged in Brazil. And finally, Abu Dhabi. The finale didn't have the drama of title deciders past, but it put a bow on the season. Verstappen led his 1003rd lap of the year, closed with another victory, and left the season without a single crack in the armour. From lights to flag, 2023 was his. Those moments read less like a season and more like a curated highlight reel. So the only question left is simple. Was it the most dominant campaign ever, or just the loudest one? Was 2023 the single greatest display of dominance Formula 1 has ever seen? The argument for yes is overwhelming. 19 wins, an 86% strike rate that leaves Ascari's record in the dust, over 1,000 laps led, 10 wins on the bounce, and a teammate gap so brutal, Verstappen's points lead was larger than Perez's entire total. You can cherry pick stats all day, but it's rare to find a season that checks every dominance box at once. The counter? Well, context matters. The calendar is inflated, point systems are friendlier to big totals, and modern reliability means fewer mechanical DNFs to ruin title charges. Comparing across eras is like comparing Fangio's road trips to Hamilton's jet set. The sport has changed too much to crown an absolute best. But within the modern era, it's hard to escape the conclusion. 2023 wasn't just a championship, it was a monopoly. Verstappen didn't just beat the field, he erased the idea of competition for an entire year. So, let's put it to you. What's the number that seals it for you? Drop your pick in the comments down below. Hit like if you caught yourself double checking the math, and subscribe if you're here for F1, whether it's history, dominance, or chaos.